What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Oh man, hope you guys got your beauty sleep in. You guys, I see you out there. You looking good. You looking good. You got up extra early today. You guys even comb your hair today. Oh my goodness. You have to dress up for me. Man, you guys are looking good. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got a little bit of a bullish rally. Vin may even brush his tooth. That's incredible. That's incredible. I mean, it does save time if you got only one tooth as opposed to a whole set. Oh man, do you know how much extra time in your life you have to do other things? That's crazy. That is crazy. We got Ronnie in YouTube land. What is happening, Ronnie? All you guys piling into the chat. All you guys piling into the YouTube land. Welcome. Man, it's going to be a day. But first things first, I don't know if in Slack, I know YouTube, you guys don't have Slack access, but if you guys saw Slack today, I mean, I don't know if anybody saw Jeremy's message in regards to the unfortunate and tragic accidents in Texas as far as the school goes. But he did say, he said, I will be placing no trades for the rest of the week and donate all gains for his year so far to the families of the terrible tragedy. So definitely a round of applause for Jeremy. That's absolutely incredible. And we should definitely have a moment of silence for any of the victims and just families, community for the horrific actions in Texas. So we should do that now. All right, team. Just wanted to pay some respects to all of them. As far as the market goes, Brandon says Jeremy Newsom for POTUS. Man, he's got my vote. He already been getting my vote. I've been doing the write-ins. I've been doing the write-in votes. I've been writing his name in. I don't know. I thought he'd at least beat Kanye. I thought he was going to beat out Kanye for sure. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's always 3 more years from now. We'll try it again. Vote early and often. Yeah, I did a mail-in ballot, so it's still on its way. It didn't count yet. Didn't count. All right, so let's take a look at the SPY. We are gapping up. We had a bullish day. Let me actually go back to what we were looking at yesterday on TradingView. I said it was going to be, my morning analysis yesterday was it's going to be a little bit, you kind of had a little mixed signal. We had the potential to go bullish yesterday for sure. This is the line that we drew. This is off the hourly chart. This is the line we drew. So a lot of things were kind of gapping down. They kind of looked a little bit. Matt says, do we have to stop voting in the USA? Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that for sure. Yeah, so this is where we were yesterday on the SPY. Everything else kind of had a little weird gap down, especially in the Qs for the most part. We were still in this range pre-market. We're still in this little downtrend from here to here. And so the one thing I said is we're not quite there yet. We're not quite breaking out of that little downtrend, but we're very close to it. We tried 1, 2, 3. This is our 3rd time. If we could break out, it is possible to have a bullish day. The one thing is there was Fed yesterday. I think there is not Fed notes coming out today, but I think there is some Fed speakers today at some point. So we just got to watch out for that. I don't know if they're going to influence or move the market more than the actual notes did, but that move yesterday after the Fed came out, that was one of the biggest moves after a Fed report since probably February. So that was a decent size rally yesterday. I would be looking for some more continuation. So we have 3 bars up, inside rest candle, and we are gapping above this at this point. One thing to consider, to watch out for, I mean, right now at open, we might be in a little tight range. So we have VPOC at 429, and then we have another one, probably 491. So that's going to put us from 420 to 401. If that breaks, we could have a solid move up to 405, which is very likely to happen today if we could get that extra momentum somewhere, somehow. We also have that inverse head and shoulders. So left shoulder, there's our head, there's the right shoulder. And we're kind of just feeling this out. This was the retest into that line. So everything looks good as far as that goes. This is an untested VPOC at this point. So at some point we could get back down to 394.63. So if we'd start fading hard, that's where I'll be looking for, just some kind of support. I don't know if that happens. It is a good gap. Even any selling that happened yesterday, we could probably take that out. Stop eating the brownies, Justin. Ma'am, missing out. Yeah, I just Justin said he'd been seeing green. I know, it's weird. It's a weird concept. I would say don't get too comfortable with it. Don't make it a habit of seeing green, because I think we do still head lower, but I think the markets had to get some love at some point. Could you explain? Ronnie says, could you explain how you use volume profile combined with RSI and MACE? Personally, I don't really combine them. So I'll solely use VPOC for targets, for support levels. That's where institutional buying comes in at that price. And then you could always cross check it or against the RSI if you wanted to. So if you're getting some kind of sell off and you're at VPOC and then also RSI is low, okay, it's probably oversold. You're looking for some kind of bounce in that area. But RSI is just the relative strength. I'm using the VPOCs as more targets, support levels, things that shouldn't get broken if institutional buyers want to save their positions or bail out of positions at certain prices. Because in the overall market, we're just retail traders at the end of the day. And retail traders only make up about 3.5% of all the volume that actually happens in the overall market. All the rest is those institutional buyers, and man, those guys kind of hate losing money. So anytime they get into a position, if this thing comes back, you tend to see them kind of push it back up again. All right. So if you have this breakout, I'm expecting at some point this VPOC, and honestly, this was probably the retest. So this was our big strong move. This was the retest into VPOC. They bought it up again, and we're going to probably continue higher. So we are, again, we're not gapping above yesterday's range on the Qs. We are above at least one level of VPOCage. That's 291.19. So if we get any type of little pullback, sell off, anything like that, we have retested on the Qs this 292 level. If 292 level breaks on the Qs, we could see a decent looking rally. This is going to be a very interesting spot to break. If we do break this, all of our upside room is all the way back to about 298.94. So watch that on the Qs. It's going to be very important. 292.96. That's a decent move for the Qs. About a $6 move higher. 650, something like that. But again, you do have a little bit of inverse head and shoulders. There's your neckline. We'll actually draw it out on this one as well. Or trend line, worst case, but something like this. There was our break, retest, and boom, took off. So could we dip a little bit first, play kind of some kind of S curve, play it back up? Yes. This 292, 293 zone is going to be a very tough spot to break, as you have a lot of institutional buyers. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves into it, gapped underneath. Institutions pushed it down. This is after hours, so technically market makers pushed it down a little bit or a lot of bit, came right back in. We're retesting that. So we could fade. We might just kind of hang out in that range a little bit. But if that 293 zone breaks, I think we're off to the races. We might get some good looking pushes for sure. I am Groot says, what is VPOC? That's just a point of control. On trading view, just type in volume profile and you should see something comes up. Once you added the little symbol over here says VSPS, I think it says. All right, let's take a look at some of the individual names. We got to start with our stock that we look at every day that just had a big event for itself yesterday. Nvidia, aka Novidia. AKA, I guess their profits only came during COVID. We'll see what happens, but they missed on revenue. Actually, no, hold on. No, scratch that. They actually beat on revenue. They actually dipped on the forecast. A lot of the sentiment and a lot of the discussion as to why it's down is they're saying, because obviously Nvidia makes a lot of chips for the mining for crypto. Crypto itself is a little bit of a struggle bus. If you guys have been completely blindfolded to the crypto market, it's pulled back pretty heavily. Demand is lower, so demand for mining is lower. Obviously, the higher the price for Bitcoin goes, the more money miners can make mining the actual crypto. So lower deflated prices, not that lucrative of a business. So therefore, demand for the mining computers are not at the highest levels they could possibly be. However, Nvidia does a lot of chips for AI. They do gaming. They do a lot of other stuff. But even during the, COVID period, gaming was through the roof, right? A lot of people had to go through gaming. They were buying new computers to work at home. So they did get a little bit of a influx from COVID for sure in multiple levels. And we did see that kind of get reflected and probably to an overextended, over-exaggerated level. So we are pulling back a little bit. I don't, for a long-term investor, I don't think 162 is a bad price. I could see this one coming down to about 125, maybe even close to $100 at some point, just on what I think the company's worth. So take that as, a grain of salt. But longer term, which again, I do think the market will pull back. I think the prices are not at the lowest they're going to be before the bigger ultimate move back up. But we are having some kind of relief rally. This one's not participating yet. However, that being said, you're going to have a certain, I could see this one getting bought up. I could actually see this one getting bought up today, probably to a 166 level. Where this thing actually gapped down to, this was closer to about, I think it hit like 157 or something like that after hours. It was getting wrecked. If this stock opened up underneath that little pivot, I think just all downside. Right now, we're holding that little bit of support. We got a VPOC at close to 162-ish in that range. And this thing could get bought up back to 166. I could see if people are like, hey, market's bullish. I like Nvidia at $200. I liked it at $300. I liked it at $350. Maybe buy some positions on a company that overall long-term. And if you do believe in crypto, like crypto comes back, all right, well, that's going to take a lot of fear off the table as well. So would I buy a put for a 3-month? I'd just wait a little bit, Tony. Wait a little bit. And I don't know if you're talking about Nvidia specifically or in general for the markets, but I would wait a little bit on the puts. See if we could get to that 410, 415, 417 range. That's where I want on the SPY. That's where I want to start to look to buy puts. As I think we get some, we've sold off a lot really quick. I think it was like 8 weeks in a row. We need to have some kind of relief rally, and I think somewhere in that 415, 417 level is probably where we end up going. Maybe we go a little bit higher than that, but that's where I'd start to buy some of those puts and look for that. That just this all just being some kind of a retest from a massive oversold. We get a little dead cat bounce, and then we start rolling again. And July, I think, is the next time the Fed comes out with their rate hikes. A lot of it's going to depend on CPI, I think, at this point, is pretty much what Jerome Powell was saying. So we'll have to wait and see what those CPI numbers are. That's going to be a huge, huge event for the market. Tesla. So Tesla, it was a little bit higher pre-market, and I liked it to the bullish direction. Right now, I would wait and see. Again, we are anybody that's sold or anybody shorting at the very end of the day, I think maybe we gap down. They're trapped a little bit to the bullish side. So watch the level of about 671. If we start to break that, targets on this one, which could happen today. I mean, obviously it's Tesla, it moves a lot, but we could get to 706, 707 range for sure. But we have to break a little bit higher for that to happen. So I will be watching Tesla very closely for a bullish trade. I don't know personally if I'm going to take a bearish trade on it. I don't think the risk to reward is that good. All my risk to reward is to the upside on this one. The downside, 659, I'd be watching for. See if we get some kind of a bounce there. You have a little bit of support, and maybe that's even a better spot to try to go long. But Yeah, if I go short at open on Tesla, I'm going to be bailing at 659. It gives me about $10 to the downside. But if I could get a dollar or two higher, I mean, that's going to give me about a $38 range to the upside. Tony says, sorry, I missed it. What's the range for Nvidia? For Nvidia, if it's starting to hold these ranges, which at open so far looks okay, the best place to go long is for risk to reward purpose 161.86. But if you're going long anywhere and you're going to try to hang in there, probably about 166.25 would be target, maybe a little less than that. To the downside, only if we're starting to break that 161.70 would I really be interested in probably trying to play something to the downside. But yeah, if we start to break those pivots, especially that big massive candle, this thing definitely has room to drop after that certain point. But again, yeah, I could actually see it kind of getting bought up a little bit. Maybe a little shakeout at the beginning because some people, obviously, we are trapping some bulls. Some people came in enthusiastic yesterday, and yeah, we'll see what happens. I think the hedges have to cover shorts for a month end. Insurance companies have to rebalance. Yeah, I believe all that's true. Could have one. It could be a week or two. Yeah, I'd say maybe a week or two rally, something like that. Just enough to build some confidence in the bulls. Like, okay, we hit bottom, and then we roll. Ronnie says, I am also a miner of Ethereum. Yep, the same thing. Obviously, if you're a miner, you want pricing to be higher. And Ethereum's getting clapped. Bitcoin's getting clapped. Roku's on my list, so we'll just take a look. I don't think anything too crazy. Roku, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, yeah. Realistically, target would be 90.68. I don't know if that hits today, but 88.65, I'd probably be piecing off, legging out of some stuff, taking profits on Roku, Delta. But the long weekend, bull trap today, bear trap tomorrow. I kind of want to see what tomorrow does to predict Friday. I think it's a tough environment to hold anything. So it just, if we do rally today, I could see maybe at probably early in the day we sell off Friday, I would say, and then again, even if I was short, I don't really want to hold over a 3-day weekend. So I'd want to close out my shorts, which means I got to be buying back the stock, and that could drive the end of the day Friday bullish. But that all depends. If we end up just absolutely getting clapped today and sinking, that could be quite the opposite on Friday. So we'll see. Today's gonna be an interesting one, but we do have, for anybody, especially international, market is closed on Monday, so there is a 3-day weekend for sure. Delta, I think it's at an untradeable range at this point. Kind of just been chopping around to the upside, or if you want to short, somewhere around 39.20 would be a spot to look. Maybe even 39.40 to the downside, 38.58. But I think it's just a little crammed up. SPY we looked at already. Pre-market for Apple. So Apple not participating in any of the rallies today. It's actually looking a little bit more bearish. Watch out for one level of support at 137.34. If that breaks to the downside, we do have an untested VPOC that is 134.14. We are gapping below 2 days of activity for the most part. We're still within that little bit of a wick where bulls came in one time, but for the most part, anybody that is buying Apple is a little bit hosed at open. Probably pretty frustrating and wants to either just bail, close. If you're short, take profits. If you're short, you're probably going to try to hang in there for a little bit. But see if you could get a bounce off of 137.39-ish, 137.40. If not, you do have about a $3.10 move for a risk to reward purpose to the downside. So we could watch that one. Deer was discussed in the afternoon room, I think 2 days ago, something like that. So just on my watch list. We could be watching for a gap fill on this one. Right now we are above. We are going to be gapping above the short range of the last hour of the day. So we are trapping potentially some bears that might have shorted 1, 2, 3 candles up. most likely that was people taking profit at the end of the day, that more than anything. But we will see if we can get higher. We are in the gap for. We're definitely in the gap. We're actually opening slightly above this big drop candle, so we're actually in the gap at this point. So to the bullish side on Deere, yeah, we have some room to 364. I'd probably start getting a little nervous around 355, but untested VPOC for sure. So maybe we fill that gap. We'll have to wait and see. Overall, I think the trend is slightly to the downside for sure. And also, I think Deere did increase their dividends, so it is for longer term investors. It did have a little bit of a bullish appeal to it. Palantir, I don't expect too much today. Even as we start to get up, we got some levels up here in this range. It's going to be a little tougher to break through. So Palantir, probably not that exciting. Datadog I pulled up this morning looks like absolutely garbage. Datadog to the short side. And again, I don't know if they had earnings. It doesn't look like it. No, earnings were back here. But we are gapping. We had a little bit of a double bottom. This did make a new lower low. We are pretty much having some kind of trend down. We actually broke that trend, giving some bulls maybe some incentive, but we are now gapping below that big massive open candle. So Datadog to the open kind of looks a little bit short to me. If we're looking at the clusters of volume, we're pretty much at the very bottom of these clusters. I don't even have targets for where this could go, but I'd be looking for short. I'd have to go out to a longer time frame and just don't know. Draft the Kings. That should be on my list somewhere. I'm gonna look at DraftKings today. Crypto is dumping, like it just started. We'll take a look at some Bitcoin as well. DraftKings, it's going to be a challenge for DraftKings in these levels. We're right in between a whole bunch of these VPOC areas. That's going to be a very tight trading range. If we could break out of 1442, that's going to give us about a 50-cent move to the upside. But yeah, overall, it's probably day trade wise, I think going to be a little bit more tough and or difficult. We have some kind of a downtrend here, something like that. We did break out, kind of just hanging out for right now. If we get a little bit higher, again, just using the volume clusters, I mean, that would give us about 1776 to the upside. So you do have some room if we really start to move. I don't know if today is the day where we really start banging out of here. We have to probably just hang in there for a little bit. Ron says Newsom talked about TSCO yesterday, 182. Should this be a limit or stop? Let me pull that up in 1 second. Boeing. Boeing. Probably 123.49 is the target. If that breaks, we're looking for a little bit higher, but kind of a little bit congested back and forth. I don't think there's any play on that one. Let me pull up TSCO. TSCO. So yeah, he wants to, let me see what the order was. 182.01. And one, yeah, so this is gonna be a limit order. So basically you don't want to get triggered in to go short unless it hits that price. So that would be a limit, not a stop limit. Falco coming in hot and heavy with the Dollar Tree, the $1.25 spot. At least Aldi gives your quarterback with your shopping cart. You know, Dollar Trees, they just take your extra 25 cents. Dollar Tree, yep, nice little gap. I believe they beat earnings. I don't know if I would fade them unless they start breaking under here. I feel like a lot of retail actually had a good push this morning. Some good earnings coming from retail. Might have a little bit more bullish catalyst, but yeah, this is a massive move. Oh, look at that jump down. Now you're right below it. That would be an absolute fade. Depends on where this thing opens. If it opens right where it's at now, yeah, that would be a decent fade all the way down to I don't know if I'd go all the way to 135. I mean, in hindsight, in a perfect world, if I put on a superhero cape, I would love to say that I could do that, but I'd probably be looking at 144.90, absolutely panicking, and then crying that I didn't just hold, just hold it all the way to the end. But yep, that one looks good. I'm going to throw that on my other list, and we'll take a look at that one pretty much at open. DLTR, that does look like a pretty sweet fade. Again, just depends on where it opens, but DG as well. Let me just add this one to here too, in case it's not DLTR. All right, cool. And then, yep, DG was the other one. Dollar General. So the dollar store is charging $220.50 for their stock. You are gapping into a little bit of you're gapping into a little bit of some volume. You do have a pivot you're gapping into, so a little bit there. I would want to see this thing start breaking 219, roughly like 219.50, and then maybe that's a better short. Could ride that thing down to about 212. Right now in the zone, I would just be patient for Dollar General for me at the open. Could see a little bit of a push higher into maybe 226 and then come down potentially. But yeah, if DLTR starts dropping, I'm sure DG will get some sympathy love as well. Corey says, do you think Apple can go to 145 prior level support by tomorrow before it goes bearish next week? AAPL. So you want this thing to go to 145. I would say anything is possible, is what I would say. This one I think is most likely unlikely to go to 145. Yep. It's gonna have a lot of struggle, probably in the 140 to 142 area. It would have to break this 142.50, and then I think you're slightly in a better shot to get there. But I'd actually be seeing if it holds that level right here, and I think even that it's going to be a short range on Apple today. So I don't think much happens really with Apple, upside or downside. If it does start to break down, we'd be looking for about 134, and you're getting further and further from that target. So I think it's going to be a little bit on the tough side. They would need, I mean, if Tim Apple comes out and says something crazy, maybe, but the odds I think are against it. All right, YouTube. Man, I like hanging out with you guys, sipping some pina coladas early in the morning, but unfortunately, it is that time. How many likes did we get? We only got 11 thumbs up. Nuh-uh, that's not good. I need you guys to hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if this is your first time here. If it's your first time, welcome. We appreciate you all in YouTube land, but it is about that time where, unfortunately, our internet connection goes out, weirdly enough, around the time the bell rings. But we should have our tech team working all day and all night for it. We'll be back tomorrow with you guys live in YouTube land. You guys are incredible. I will catch all